So now let us understand the flow builder clearly so that it will be very handy for us to build the flows in that flow builder. So what is flow builder? If you remember, so if you want to create any flow, we have to go to setup, let it load. So until it loads, let me explain you here. So you have seen when you go to that setup, just a minute, flow. So let me open the flows here. Now in the flow, there is a button called new flow. If you click on that, then this page opens for us. So where we can select the type of flow which we want to create. So in the previous example, we have created a record trigger flow. Let's go with that only. So record trigger flow. So this is called as a flow builder. If you can see, this is called as a flow builder. Okay. Now let us understand this flow builder clearly. Okay. So uh, this is another way of opening the flows, like clicking on the app launcher, then clicking on the auto. Typing auto, then you get automation. Then that this will be open for you. So the new automation window, and then finally you will have this one. See, you can go like this or you can go like that. Go into setup and typing flows. So anyway, it opens the flow builder for you. So if you see the flow builder, it is divided into three sections. One is toolbox, one is canvas, one is button bar. Okay, three sections. So what is toolbar? Okay, that you can see this side. Okay, this side. If you see this side, this is called as a toolbar where you will be having outcomes, decision outcomes like resources. We call it as a resources and elements. Everything you will be having here listed. Okay, so like this, it's a toolbox. Okay, it's a toolbox. You can create a new resource. Okay, what is resource? This all we'll see. Don't worry. But so it's like a wait a minute. Yeah, it's a toolbox where you will be having all these resources, elements, everything listed. Then you have this second section, okay, which is a we call it as a canvas, okay, where we start working. It's a working area for us to build the flow. Okay, if you see, this is complete area is a canvas for you. You can create a new element. I mean, add a new element or add connectors, add shortcuts. So like that, you can start working here. You can use this area to build your flow. Okay, these are your elements, resources, etc. Like it's a toolbox, and this is a canvas. And the third one is button bar. Okay, so button bar in the sense this top layer, the top header you can say. So this button bar is like you're running, debugging, testing your flow, and saving the versions or activating the flow. So these all buttons will be there here. So the main area for you to focus on is the canvas. Okay, the canvas is the main area for us to focus. So because here itself you can add elements and create the flow, create the complete flow chart. So everything can be done here only. So if you want to configure also, you can configure here only in the canvas. Okay, this is a part of canvas. So this configuration, so each element will have its own configuration. Okay, page that will be opened in the canvas itself with the right side for you. Okay, this is a canvas. Now we have understood that this is flow builder, and flow builder is divided into three sections. One is toolbox, the second one is canvas, and the third one is the button bar. Okay, now so this is all about the button bar, canvas, and toolbox. Now, so this is how the flow builder is divided into three sections. Now this we are done with the flow builder, understanding the flow builder. Now let us understand. Okay, now let us understand flow building blocks. So if you are going to create any flow, what it will consist of, and what are the main building blocks to create any flow? Okay, that we'll see now. Flow uses the three building blocks. Those are elements, connectors, and resources. So if you are building any flow, that will be made up of these three building blocks. One is elements, the other one is connectors. Okay, the third one is resources, what the flow is using. Okay, now let us understand one by one. Let us understand elements. Okay, elements. Let me go back to the flow again. Now if you remember, so if you are going to create any flow, suppose you are going to create a account to triggered flow. Whenever an account record is created, I want new contact should be created. So what I'll do, I'll add an element which we call it as a data element. There will be three different types of elements. Okay, data element, logic element, and interaction element. Shortcuts you leave it. So data element I am selecting. So if you keep on adding, it's like a node, right? Node means, if you are into in your BTech, you may be seeing that nodes are like, let me if you have a graph, okay, these are called as nodes. Okay, a connecting points. Okay, a connecting points. This is called as connector. In any graph, if you remember, if any flow chart, if you have done in your while you are learning, I mean in your education, so those connecting points are nothing but the nodes. We call it as a nodes. That nodes, if you see in our flow chart, if you see, these two are connected with the connector, and this is a connecting point between end and start. So like this, whatever the elements, I mean whatever the points that are there, like we call it as a nodes, and these nodes are nothing but elements. So these are the main building blocks. See, if I want to create a record whenever a record is created, or update a record whenever a record is created or updated, so I need that element, right? Without this element, I can't just uh, do a. I mean, can't write a code here, right? So we need a element which is already I mean, there is a backend code which runs. We just need to configure these elements. Okay, we just need to configure these elements, so that elements we need to know. So there will be three different types of elements that will come to know. But elements you understand as a, you should keep in your mind that these are the connecting points. Okay, connecting points as a node, or let's say node. So elements or nodes on the canvas that makes things happen. To add an element to the canvas, just click this icon. We have done that. We have clicked this. Okay. Now there are connectors. Connectors are the lines. Okay. Connectors are the lines. If you see here this diagram, these are the elements. Decision, these all. Okay. Update. Okay, this config. So like that. Why, if you see this one, there are connectors. Okay, connectors, lines, nothing but in any graph or flowchart, whatever the lines that are getting that we use to connect two different nodes or two different elements, then those are called as connectors. Okay, they tell the flow which element to execute next. See, if you see this flow chart, so after this, so this should execute. After this should execute. So how it can how we can know that? Because the connectors show the path for us. Okay. Resources are like something like, you can't see it here, you can't see in the flow chart. If you see in the flow chart, I can't see. But but resources are like configurable in the, while you are configuring. Okay, while you are configuring, we use certain data. Now suppose if you remember in the previous class. Okay, in the previous class. Let me show you. If a student record is created, we created the contact record. So let me do that here again. 1 second. So if I take contact, now if I want to create a contact, whenever an account is created, so the last name of the contact, I have to take it, right. These are nothing but resources. Okay, resources. Now, if you're performing certain action, one by one action, then you need to know what happened previously. Okay, in the previous step, what happened? Is there any data that I can use from the previous step? Okay, previous step into this next step, or is there any global data that I can use? Okay, so that all information is nothing but resource for us. Okay, resource. If I say, if you are assigning a value to this, I can add a resource, like from the triggering account you take the name. So this is a resource for us. For this step, this is a resource because this helps us configure this step. Okay, the field inside this step. So where you got this resource from? This triggering account dot account name. That means whatever the account that triggered this flow, from that you extracted the name field. So like that, resources are helpful for us to have the data, to store the data. Okay, to store the data, to retrieve the data. Okay, from the previous step or any global variables, while a global data, like if you want to remember one constant account number, or account number, or some any code throughout this flow, that code is important for you. So what do? You click on a new resource, you create a constant. Okay, constant in the sense, let me show you. uh, Discount code, let's say data type number, enter the value 55, or discount code na, let's say text DISC 550. So I created this one. Now if I want, I can add a field. Okay, I can add a field. Let's say let's say I think I don't have any field here to store. Some other field is there. So discount code, you got it, right. So whatever the resources you create here, that you can use here. Okay, inside your flow you can use those resources. So resources are nothing but your data storage places, whether you store the data from the previous steps, or whether you store the data globally throughout the flow. Anyhow, okay, there are many other different types of resources that you can cover in the trial head that we'll discuss later. But remember, resources are the containers to store the data. Okay, now, so we are done with the understanding of basic building blocks of a flow. Any flow that you create, that will consist of three things for sure: element, connectors, and resources. Now let's start understanding elements. So what are elements, and what are the different types of elements we have? Okay, so elements, as we know, as we discussed just now, elements are the nodes. Okay, elements are the nodes or the main building blocks of the flow. that tells us what the flow will do. Next, what will happen with the, like, whatever the configuration we have done in that element. So according to that, that element performs certain action. Okay, it may take some decision, or it may perform some action like creating a record, updating a record, or it may create a, like another like a task for us, like sending an email or creating any task. Okay, like this, like this we will be having different types of elements. Elements are nothing but like which are is going to take some action. Okay, so these elements are classified again into three types: interaction elements, data elements, and logic elements. So let's talk about interaction elements. Okay, interaction element. Suppose if I click on this button, what will happen? It opens a chat window for us. Means based upon my interaction, some action is happening based upon user interaction. Okay, user interaction in the UI. I may click this button. Okay, then it will open a page for us. So this is a small thing. But sometimes if I open a button, see, if I scroll, if I click on this button, so it opens a screen for us. If I click again on this, it will take me to another page. So like this, based upon the user interaction, if something should happen, those are classified into, okay, interaction element. Those are classified into category called as interaction elements. Okay, screen, action, subflow. Subflow in the sense flow inside a flow. So these three, okay, are like into interaction elements. If you click here, if I click here, you can see here interaction, interaction. Perform an action outside the flow, like send a email or submit a for approval, like that. Okay. Then subflow, launch another active flow. Okay. Custom error, create a custom error message showing like this record, I mean, cannot be deleted, this record can be deleted or is updated. So like that custom error, if you want to show, we can use it. So we are into record trigger flow now, that's why I'm not saying screen here. Screen element. So screen element will also have, we will have it, that you can see in another type of flow, but it's a part of the interaction element. Okay, interaction element. Now, so then we have the data elements. Okay, data elements. What are data elements? We know this because we have seen this one. So inside data element, we will be having create records, update records, get records, delete records. These type of actions, the data elements can perform. Okay, these type of actions, the data elements can perform. Okay. So whenever an account is created, what should happen? If you want to update, create, get, or delete, then you have to use the data element. Then we have the logical element. Logical element. Okay. Logical element in the sense, suppose if you want to take a decision, okay, decision. How, what decision? Let's say not like this. I'll show here. If something is true means success, yes or no, like it's if else programming language. If you talk about if else, so what will happen? If condition is met, some action will happen. If condition is not met, some other action will happen. So like that, if condition is satisfied, if we want the whatever the outcome we want, that we got, then you perform certain action. If not, you perform certain another action. Okay, another element will configure here. So this is like a decision element, decision, if and else. Okay, like if and else. You may have multiple decisions also, like I will show you. See here, determine discount. If discount, this is a decision element. Okay, then if discount is a certain percentage or certain code is retrieved, so based upon that, you assign the discount variable for this. this is assignment, this is assignment. So like that, these elements are logical, that can think, okay, okay, what should happen, what should not happen. Okay, if like if and else, like a programming language, how it thinks, like a assignment, looping, and if and else. So that kind of elements are nothing but interaction, sorry, logical elements for us. Okay, logical elements, logic elements, assignment, decision, loop, like sorting and filtering. If you have multiple users, if you want to do filtering, okay, if you want to fetch the names which starts with s, then that kind of in that kind of situation, you use this type of elements. Okay, so while learning, while creating a flow, we'll get more handy with this. Okay, I'll give you a few examples and few homework as well, so where you can practice all these elements. Okay, so connectors, as we have discussed, what are connectors? Connectors are the path for us. Okay, this connecting it. Okay, connecting lines are nothing but, we call it as a, okay, we call it as a connectors. Is it clear? Pure resource also we have seen. So this one, we can leave it. We can, I mean, uh, ignore that one. It's a small topic. We need to understand the concept called as variable. Okay, variables. If you remember, I added a new resource, right? So if I want to add any data, I created as a constant, discount code as a constant. If discount code is varying, okay, varying, that means sometimes discount code is 5, the sometimes discount code is 10, so like that. So in that scenario, we create a something called as variable. It's same like constant only. Okay, but constant is same throughout the life cycle of the flow, from start to end. How many elements you may have? Okay, you may have 100 elements here, but y- at the end of the day, constant remains same from start to end, but variable may change. Okay, variable may change based upon the execution. Like suppose if I say big decision is taken, if decision, like a decision is like 5% of discount, then what will happen? We want to save variable 5 in the discount variable. Okay, in the discount variable, we want to store the number 5. If this decision is like having the discount 10%, so we'll have the 10%, okay, 10 as a variable. So based upon the requirement, or based upon the execution of like decisions, or actions taken by each element, I want the variable, okay, I want the variable to change the value. So in that scenario, I use the concept of variable. Okay, data type, let's say number. So decimal places 2. Enter default value. Default value I will set 5. Available outside the flow, yes. If I am having screen flow, if user want to enter the data, then also if I want to take it. So there are different scenarios. This one, just I'll check it out here. Okay, you created a resource called as discount percentage, so I can use that. So here in the decision resources, discount percentage equals to 5%. So like this I can see, I'm not giving the correct example, just I'm showing how to use those resources here. I'll frame the perfect example, don't worry. We'll see it in tomorrow's class. So where we'll use all these resources, all the elements, everything. Okay. So variables are like for us the one of the they are not like a building block, but they serve as a like from here to here. If you are moving, if you want to carry the data from here to here, from here to here, here to here, so you need something to store. Okay, that something is nothing but a variable for us. Variable that is nothing but a resource only for us. It's a resource, one type of resource. Like a constant, it's throughout the flow the value is same. So that is the constant. The other thing is variable. If you see, if you click on new resource, you'll be having variable, constant. You can have a formula as well, and some text template. Okay, and stage. So this two will see. Okay, we'll see later. I can't explain like this orally. I have to give you the correct example for this. Okay, but formula, constant, variable, formula we know. So you have written formula fields, validation rules. Okay, so similar to that only you'll be writing one kind of formula here. That formula you can use anywhere in any element if needed. Then constant, then variable. Okay, so this is about the flow, its building blocks, and what we use mostly. Okay, what we see, if you start talking about flows, and if you start learning flows it will itself will take almost 3 weeks to complete fully. But we want to make this learning little fast, so what we do is, what are the important topics are there inside the flow, only that we'll cover. So most used flows are record trigger flows and schedule trigger flows, auto launcher flows are there. So we'll see these three types, and inside each flow, what are the building blocks, whatever the type of flow you take. So the building blocks are same: the connectors, the elements, and the resources. And there will be different types of elements, and there will be different types of resources. So that you have to keep in mind when to use what. Okay. Any questions? Okay. Now, now, uh, this flow topic we'll see in the next class again. We'll resume this flow topic in the next class again. So, in the last class, I have told you that we'll prepare ourselves for the service cloud. Okay, service cloud fully. So, let us understand the service cloud now again. Okay, we'll just go back to the service cloud. Okay, let me open this playground for us. So we have in the Salesforce platform, we have multiple applications, right? Sales application, service application, or your own custom applications. We are learning about the service cloud. Okay, service cloud. Service cloud is mainly meant for cases or tickets. If you are doing any business, okay, if you have a client, he's having a business and he want to build a customer portal where customers can, okay, where customers can come and create their tickets. Like in the previous class we have seen the example. If you are having a act 5, if you imagine act fiber net or some wi-fi services you are providing, your customers facing the issue, so what they do complaint. Okay, they raise a ticket. Those raised tickets are nothing but cases for us. Cases. Just a minute. That are nothing but cases. So cases are the, like we can say, main building block of service cloud. Okay, service cloud. So what does this case means? Case is nothing but it's a ticket, okay, or complaints, okay, complaints raised by your customers, okay. So where do they raise the complaint? Okay, where do they raise the complaint? You may having any support desk portal, okay, portal, or like we say generally as a website, okay, website, or web application, website, web app, or mobile app, or through email they may create a case. Through phone call they do the phone for us and raise a ticket, okay. So from these many places we may get a case. If you're into service cloud, so what the service cloud is mean for? To manage your cases, to manage your tickets, okay, to serve the customer, okay. So with the tickets or complaints or cases, whatever the customers raise for us, so how to solve them, how to enhance the customer experience, or how to make your users, your customer representatives are there, so how to make their day-to-day activities very smooth. That all we have to understand when we are talking about the service cloud. All the activities, coding, configuration, everything related to service will be included in the service cloud. So as part of that, cases are the like a main important part. Cases is nothing but they are like nothing but a object, okay. Case is an object like account, student. Case is also an object, okay. It's a standard object, it's a standard object, it's a standard object, okay. So support this port. So where does this case from? We call it as a case origin. Okay. Or source of the case. Source of case. Okay. Case source. So this we have to remember because through which portal or which app or through email or through phone, where does this case come from? Where does this case raised? Okay. There may be two chances. There may be two chances. Raised by customer or okay customer, or we can call it as a client as well. Or if customer do a phone call, the case can be created, okay. Case can created by your customer representatives. If you call Amazon, so if you tell about some issue with your products or the orders, so what they do, okay, we are raising a concern for you, okay. So these all they will these all they will do, they will say for us. So in the back end what they will be doing, they will be creating a case for us, okay. They will be creating a case for us or a ticket for us. You'll get a email, okay. So who raised the case? Customer only die, but indirectly, okay, indirectly it's a customer representative who raised the case, okay. Now where they can raise the case, these all are the places of raising a case, okay, which we call it as a case origin or source of case. Case, what are the main fields inside the case? If customer is filing a case, so what we need to ask for the customer, okay, or what are the details we need to understand the case? Case summary, okay, description, description, okay, customer account details, or whatever the products if we have purchased from us, so that product details, okay. Then priority, priority, whether it's a P1 or P2 or P3, like this high priority, low priority, medium priority, okay. What are the contact details, okay, contact details, any attachments like so like any images like that, any attachments. These all are these. I mean, these are all the fields that we need when we raise a case or when we want to understand a particular concern from the customer. These all we need, right? So these all fields are necessary. These all fields are necessary. Okay, and each case will have, once the case is created, case will have the case number. Okay, case number. If you raise any act fiber, like let's say Amazon ticket, you'll be having number, right? Like this, or AD, like this numeric also it may be having. So this is nothing but a case number. So this all we need to have whenever we are talking about a case. We are talking about a case. So, for our luck, Salesforce know these things. So, whenever we need, I mean, we are dealing with the customer, so we need these all fields. Now, Salesforce knows this because Salesforce is mean for customer relationship management. So, what it does in the Service Cloud for the case object, it has provided already few of the fields for us, like standard fields. Right? We have standard fields, we have custom fields. Yes or no? So custom fields are the fields which we create. Standard fields are the fields which are provided by the Salesforce by default. And similarly, custom objects and standard objects are there. Standard objects are provided by the Salesforce, and custom objects are something which we build. Okay. So case is a standard object, and inside the standard object, we have few standard fields. See, contact name of the customer. Okay, whatever the, so let's say Tejasvi, and account to which this account, in the sense you have to remember the company details. Okay, H communications, let's say, type, type of the case electrical, then case origin. As I told, case origin is important. So like from where does this case come from? So by default we'll be having three drop down options. So let's say from the phone call, then status is like, status is by default new, means if you are not working. You see, if it is a very brand new ticket, then it's new. If it's already existing ticket, if you want to create another ticket escalated, then escalated. If you are working and you want to create another case, then it's a working. So, but for now, let's keep it as a new only. So priority, as I said, P1, P2, P3, or high, medium, low. So that we have to select. Case reason, some equipment complexity. So subject, or let's say summary. Oh, sorry. So description, any comments. So these all we product, any product. So these are whatever the like a product it is about, any website, email, company name. So like this we can have few details of the case. What if you want to have any new fields? Like I said, attachments, I want to, for each case I want to see images, PDF files, or screenshots. So what I do, I create another additional field here. So that's it, we can create a custom field, right? So this is a standard object. We have some standard fields, I can use that. Okay, I can use that, or if you want, I can create a new one. Okay, this is called as record page, a case record page. Okay, this is called as a case record page. Okay, where you'll be having the information about the case, a complete information about a particular case, you can see it here. Okay, the details, the discussions or the updates. Okay, discussions or the updates. Suppose new to working. See the updates on the case. You can see all of this updates history, let's say history, in the all update section. Details of the case here in the sidebar you can see. Any related objects, and right, relationship. So any related objects that we have for the case, that also we can see. Okay, case history, same like case updates. So you can see it here. Okay, this is about, okay, this is about the, what we say, a case. So if you want to understand service cloud, then you must understand what are cases, what are accounts, okay, what are contacts. So these three you have to understand for sure. Accounts, contacts, and cases. These are the standard objects that are provided by the Salesforce in the service cloud. Okay. If we will discuss more about the case creation, way to create a case, whether you create from web case or email or phone call, so that we'll be discussing in the tomorrow's class about the case. Just today I want you to understand some few fields inside the case. What are those fields, why we use those fields? Okay, that we have understood here. Okay, any questions? We'll take a 5 minutes break and we'll start. I mean, we'll end this class and then we'll start the LWC class. Okay. We'll take a 10 minutes break. At 9 o'clock, we'll connect. Thank you.